They will and that gets to eat, and while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they share a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One night they share a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. But it's not here, but everybody can join in the chorus. Hanukah linda,
Let's see what happens.
ocho candelas para mí.
I want to go by the camera. I want to watch it.
Candelicas, cinco candelicas, seis candelicas, siete candelicas, ocho candelicas para mí. Con alegría y placer. Con alegría y candelicas, tres candelicas, cuatro candelicas, cinco candelicas, seis candelicas, siete candelicas, dos pasteles puedo comer con almendricas y la miel. Los pastelicos puedo comer con almendricas y la miel. Everybody. Una candelica, dos candelicas, tres candelicas, cuatro candelicas, cinco candelicas, seis candelicas, siete candelicas, ocho candelicas, para mí, para mí. Olé! Let's hear Argentina! Who can retell the things that we fail us? Who can Yesterday morning in the land of Qatar, great Messi dealt on the French or war. And now everybody can sing, we are the champions, we are the champions, we are the champions of the world. And one more, let's see it.
Worms the holiday.
I'm already drunk on yesterday's festivities. Yes. Al-Anisim, Be'ala Purkan, Be'ala Guru, Be'ala Churun, Yalla Milchamot, Sheasita Lavoteinu, Ayamim Ma'efas Manase, Bye. Al-Anisim, Be'ala Purkan, Be'ala Guru, Be'ala Churun, Yalla Milchamot, Sheasita Lavoteinu, Ayamim Ma'efas Manase. We thank God for miracles. We have the menorah that does the Persumenisa, the Hanukah, that publicizes the miracle, the miracle of our redemption, the miracle of our liberation, and the rededication of the sanctuary in the time of the Maccabees.
Thank you, Rabbi. I thought it was appropriate to add a few words about Hanukkah. I don't think we have to retell the story. Everybody knows the story of Hanukkah, the great miracle. I don't know if you all know the angle that the miracle we all tell the story of the miracle of the oil lasting for 8 days. But the real miracle of Hanukkah was that the small ragtag army of the Hashmonaim, led by Judah Maccabee, was able to overcome the enormous armies and forces of the Assyrian Greeks. And when the Israelites went to establish a holiday, they thought it might be a little politically incorrect, still within the Assyrian Greek Empire, celebrating a military victory. They focused more on the miracle of oil. That was a much nicer story to tell, much more to tell. Correct to say that we're celebrating the oil lasting for 8 days. Then, hey, we nailed you guys. It's a little less politically correct. It's a little less politically correct. But it's sometimes hard to believe. That we are still marking and telling stories of combat, oppression, and fighting military battles. Here today now is almost 2023. Hanukkah falls at the darkest time of the year. This year, very literally, tomorrow. Tomorrow, Wednesday. I think tomorrow. Shortest day of the year in terms of daylight.
Solstice, winter solstice.
Winter solstice. So it's less daylight. There is less daylight during the year. Any other day, they start getting longer again already. It takes a while again already. It takes a while. And Hanukkah always sheds light during this time of darkness. It sheds the light of the candles themselves. It sheds the light of religious freedom. It sheds the light of faith in our religion. At this very dark time and in this darkest time. This year, there is a country that is literally plunged into darkness. Of course, I'm referring to Ukraine, where half of the electric grid is out, and even on the shortest day of the year, there is no source of light to make it through the long night. And yet, even in those circumstances, Jews find a way to celebrate Hanukkah. This is a wonderful picture. I'll walk around. Last night in the Ukraine, here is the lighting of what is said to be the tallest menorah in all of Europe. And even with missiles flying, with electricity knocked out, with buildings crumbling, Jews still gathered in great numbers in the square. I believe this was in Kiev. Jews still gathered in great numbers. There's a whole article here to light the menorah, have fulfilled the mitzvah of Pirsum Hanes, that it is not a private lighting. It's why we like to be outside. It's a public lighting that all of the world, Jews and non-Jews alike, shall see the light and shall see the candles and shall remember the miracle of Hanukkah. So for those Jews who are suffering everywhere around the world, but most particularly in the Ukraine, and still striving hard to celebrate our holidays, there is a prayer for the Ukraine on your tables. If you can pick up paper, please. And let's read all together in solidarity and as one with all the citizens of Ukraine, most particularly our Jewish community in the Ukraine. Holy One, source of strength, everyone together. War has begun and innocent people are dying. We ask your protection for Ukraine and its citizens. We pray for their safety and the security of the country and for the neighboring countries Hungary, Poland, and Romania, among others, that have opened their borders to provide humanitarian corridors and safe passage for all those who wish to evacuate. We seek the comfort of believing that everything will be all right, even in the face of insurmountable odds. Quiet the fears that threaten to do us. Grant us shlemut, the inner peace we so desperately seek. Help us remain calm and reach out to those in need. May this horrific situation be diffused swiftly with minimal casualties. Bless our world leaders with the ability to work together for the greater good and the wisdom to make wise decisions during this turbulent time. Bless the people of all nations with the desire, strength, and courage to create a world based on justice and filled with peace. May the words of Isaiah 2:4, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore, become true in our day, in this very hour. Source of goodness, shine your healing light on us and all those in Ukraine we hold in our hearts. Shelter us, shield us, show us the path to peace. May we each be inspired to use our unique gifts to usher in an era of enduring peace. And let us say, Amen. This prayer was actually written earlier on. I looked for a Hanukah prayer for Ukraine. I could not find a specific Hanukah prayer for Ukraine. This was written a bit earlier on in the war. And there are a few of the lines there, such as with fewer casualties and with less damage, that unfortunately that point has passed already. No casualties are acceptable, but certainly as many as there are far too many. But I think the message of these candles that are shining bright is that never, ever, ever again can this world remain silent. Never, ever, ever again can we sit still while there is bloodshed and terror, genocide, ethnic cleansing, while all of these atrocities continue to take place. So it's very easy, and I'll start with myself, to say it's very easy to become complacent. And what can we do? But even on this joyous night of Hanukkah, we have to be loud and clear in our support of the people of Ukraine, the Jewish community of Ukraine, and all those who are suffering. We pray for peace, and let us say, Amen. Hey, Rabbi.
So now
We're going back and forth.
should we do some entertainment or should we do fruit?
I think let's do a little entertainment.
Good. So, very good. You may remember, those who were in our great, wonderful Sukkot activity, that we had a special trivia session where you had to choose which is the true story, which is the false story. And that doesn't apply only to Sukkot, it applies also to Hanukkah. So I have stories for you today, and you'll have to tell me, are they true? Are they false? Are they just a little false or a little true? I don't know, we'll see. You tell me. This should be very interesting stories. Let's see who can tell the things that befell us. So, number one, story number one, Hanukkah in space. First term Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's claim that the 2018 California wildfires were ignited by a space laser controlled by a corporate cabal, including the Rothschild banking firm, is objectively ridiculous. It's okay to laugh about it. And yet, at the same time, it's horrifying because it's the latest in a long line of conspiracies about the Rothschild family, which always are at the root of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories since the 19th century. So while there aren't really any Jewish space lasers out there, Hanukkah has been celebrated in space. NASA astronaut Jeffrey A. Hoffman celebrated the first Hanukkah in space during the STS-61 Hubble Space Telescope repair mission in 1993. Hanukkah that year began on the evening of December 9th after Hoffman completed his third spacewalk. He celebrated with a traveling menorah and lit, of course, because you're going to light a fire in the space station. And he celebrated also by spinning a dreidel. And in 2019, American astronaut Jessica Meir took advantage of the fact that she was floating in low Earth orbit on the International Space Station on Monday, or possibly Sunday or Tuesday, because it goes around the Earth several times a day. And she tweeted Happy Hanukah to her 127,000 Twitter followers. Happy Hanukah to all those who celebrate on Earth. I'm celebrating on space, she wrote above a photo of herself floating from windows offering a spectacular view of a cloud-draped Earth below. Number one, Hanukah in space. Number two, a royal Hanukah. Britain's King Charles surprised Holocaust survivors at a Hanukah reception in North London on Friday and joined the group that included Anne Frank's stepsisters on the dance floor for a round of the horror. The visit was part of a British monarch's tour of the JW3 Community Centre, as the royal family seeks to stick to routine and remain silent over the second half of Prince Harry and his wife Meghan's Netflix series, which made hard-hitting claims against the royal family. While touring the JW3, the king met with a group of girls packing Christmas packages for asylum seekers, stopped by a hair and beauty course for Orthodox students, and was shown the kitchen where volunteers and refugees were preparing food packages for the needy. No, maybe it's true, I'm not sure. We'll see. King Charles was also fascinated by a Krav Maga class, self-defense, taking place down the hall, the UK Jewish News reported. Charles then made his way to Hanukah tea reception for Holocaust survivors, who were only informed that a surprise guest will be joining. The king mingled with the delighted survivors before joining several of them on the dance floor. He told one of those present that the Jewish music, the hora, played during the dance reminded him of Scottish country dancing. Eva Schloss, Anne Frank's stepsister and a Nazi concentration camp survivor, said he was sweet, he really took part, he seemed to enjoy it. That's number two, the royal Hanukah. Number three, Hanukah house, listen carefully, a Hanukah house grows in Brooklyn. Starting some 25 years ago, Gail Naomi Fuchs and her husband David Fuchs stayed up late the night before Hanukah began to completely decorate the interior of their Midwood house in tinsel, dreidels, and blue and white decor. When their two kids awoke wide-eyed at the wonder, the Fuchs explained that the Hanukah fairy, who came to decorate and spread the light and joy of Hanukah, had paid their house a visit. Over the years, what began as a lark has grown into a grand tradition. These days, eye-catching illuminated Hanukah decorations can be found on the home's exterior and front lawn too, including an oversized menorah, Jewish stars, and inflatables, such as a giant teddy bear wearing a Hanukah sweater, and a spinning dreidel. The Hanukah house, as it is locally known, is now a bona fide neighborhood treasure, attracting neighbors, visitors, and children from around Brooklyn. While Fuchs considers herself a conservative Jew, many of her neighbors in Midwood are more traditionally Orthodox. Still, she noticed that many in the area are eager to stop by and take pictures with inflatables. Some years, a school bus, even from a nearby yeshiva, stopped in front of the house so the kids can look. She said, I love sitting back on my porch. Nobody sees me, and I love watching all the people go by and celebrating. It's just a joy. The Fuchs family has always celebrated Hanukah to the nines. 4 generations of the extended family gather at their home for Hanukah parties, complete with a gift exchange. And decorating the house always is their favorite part of the holiday. We have Hanukah parade, she said, but it's not so much, hey, I'm Jewish, here's my house too. It is more like, here, hey, I have a holiday that's really, really a lot of fun. Look how pretty it is. That's number 3. The Hanukah house grows in Brooklyn. So each table will have to debate in a couple of minutes, and you have to tell me which of the stories are true. There's 2 true stories and 1 false story. 1 story is false. So number 1, Hanukah in space. Number 2, Royal Hanukah. And number 3, the Hanukah house rose in Brooklyn. 1 is true, 1 is false, 2 are true. You tell me which. So, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Which is your story? Okay, let's see. 2 are true, 1 is not. That's a preference. Okay, everybody, let's see. Let's gather around the table. Let's give you a treat. And let this player, trainers to play, and let this treat. Okay, let's see. First table, Phil.
Number 2 is a lie.
Number 2, namely the Royal Hanukah, is not true.
That is a lie.
Okay, we have a vote.
Wait, is the right one?
3, no, there's 2 right and 1 false. Which is the false one? Which is the false one? 1. The Hanukah in space is false. So we have 1 vote for number 2, 1 vote for number 1. What about that table? Harmjoy! Israel! Israel!
No, we say 2.
2? Okay, so the Royal Hanukah is false. And what about this table? Bob. Bob Risa, which is your choice?
I think that 1 is true.
Oh, 1 is false. Which is the false one?
Oh, 2.
2, Royal Hanukah. You want to know the answer? You really want to know?
Yes.
The truth is, we have the miracle of Hanukah. All of the stories are true. They are all true. All of them are true. They're all true stories. Okay, so you're very close then. Okay. It's the miracle of Hanukah. The real Hanukah is real. The Hanukah in space is real. All real.
A little deceptive, but
Well, it's the miracle of Hanukah.
the miracle of Hanukah.
The last part of our program, before we get to the latkes and sufganiyot, we promised an ugly sweater contest. Now, I'm exempt. I'm exempt. Though it is pretty ugly. It is real ugly. But I think Ronnie's up there. So everyone, because we said ugly sweaters, not ugly people. So everyone who is wearing a sweater that they would like to be considered in the competition, please come up here. Come line up here. We're gonna put on some music and we're gonna do a little parade.
Wait.
I don't have to see.
And we need judges.
And he's shaking her booty.
We have 3 prizes. We have a first, second, and third prize to give away.
I'll take all of them.
So I think, how about
Very nice sweater. Right,
Alan
ugly, of course.
and Shirley and Ellen. Can you be the judges? Okay, we're gonna do a little parade.
Steve, she's saying
And we
more.
need to identify first place, the second place, and the third place.
1 second.
Well, that's almost like a Christmas.
No, it's just a snow.
That's a winter, nice
Yeah, I
winter.
know.
Not nice, she's nice, she's nice, but it's nice.
That's an ugly
She just
one.
wants.
This is
to-
a
That's
new
a-
plan. This is a.
I bought it just for this. I know, I hope everybody knows that too. I
Come a parading around the
I'll go my own way, yeah. This way everybody will be looking at me. not at you.
Super nice.
The ugly sweater.
I don't count. But your lady could forget.
You don't have an ugly sweater.
Just remember voting for me. You know what, how about that?
I'm telling you.
Why is he just qualified? He's a winner.
You did.
Why did he do that?
Gonna go in closer, closer,
You're doing fine.
More applesauce? More applesauce?
Okay.
I'm trying to see the picture and I don't see it.
Wait.
No, no. No, no.
Wait.
So cute, thank you. Yeah.
Judges are conferring. The three judges.
Happy Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah.
Judges, do we have winners? Great. Okay, so okay. The third runner-up in the ugliest sweater contest is. You must be present to win. It's okay, it's okay. We'll recall. The second runner-up in the ugliest Hanukah sweater contest is Anna.
Wait a minute, I have to think of
Need this tomorrow.
And the star winner.
Better be right.
You got nervous.
I
lobbied for you. I lobbied. Go down and look for me.
I tell you what, hold up on the answer. Let's just watch Ronnie for that. The winner of the ugliest Hanukah contest is.
Ugliest sweater. Happy Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah.